It was the Indian Army who came into Bangladesh with the Allied forces, and they have given their lives as well. They have given their blood. Indian people given their blood.
Welcome once again to Nation Talks, an initiative of Metamorphes. Metamorphes is an organization which is non-political, non-religious, non-profit, and is doing its bit in the nation's service. 1971 was the finest hour for our great nation, India, for the Indian Army, and for the people of Bangladesh. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have with us two very, very eminent citizens, one from India, Chennai, one from Dhaka, Bangladesh, who are veterans of this extraordinary lightning campaign, which created a proud nation within 13 days. The Indian Army did what they had to do, the Air Force did what they had to do, and the Navy did what they had to do. In addition to that, the Mukti Bahini had a stellar role to play in the final outcome and the birth of a very, very proud Bangladesh. Today we have with us a great war veteran, a soldier who had been awarded with a Veer Chakra in the 1971 war in Bangladesh. Colonel A. Krishnaswami of 10th Battalion, the Jammu and Kashmir Rifles. He was an outstanding leader, a great soldier, and a master man who planned and executed a task which appeared to be almost impossible. So welcome, Colonel Krishnaswami, sir. Welcome to the Nation Talks.
Thank you very much, Colonel General Anuj. Jai Bangla, Jai Hind.
We also have with us a veteran of the Mukti Bahini, a Bahini which played an extraordinary role in the final outcome of the birth of a proud Bangladesh. Mr. Shafiqul Islam.
Assalamu alaikum and a very, very good morning and namaste. I'm glad to be here. Thank you, General Anuj.
We will now, straight away, without wasting any time, shift to the two veterans. Colonel Krishnaswami, sir, first you, sir. Can you kindly let our viewers know how exactly the battalion was employed? What was your task, your company's task, and how exactly did you go about performing the task?
Well, thank you. I will do that, General Anuj. 10th Battalion, the Jammu and Kashmir Rifles, was very fortunate, I would say, to take part in this war of 1971, in which a nation was created in a historic manner within 13 days. I'm very proud to say that I was a part of that organization, which in the final days of the surrender of the Pakistani forces, I was present at the time when the whole thing occurred. The role that was assigned to 10th Battalion Jammu and Kashmir Rifles starts from the battle point of view, from the banks of the Turag River near Tangail. At Tangail, the leading formation, the 85 Infantry Brigade, had come to a halt because of the stretch that it had from all the way from India to Tangail. The logistic elements could not fetch up, so therefore the formation that is following closely, that is 167 Infantry Brigade, of which 10 Jagrif was a part, was closely following. When the halt at Turag River, consequent to the breakage of the bridge across the river, took place, 10 Jack Rifles was assigned the task to go and lay a roadblock come ambush on the Jaidepur-Dhaka road. Jaidepur, gentlemen, ladies, is the ordnance factory that has been prepared by the Chinese under a very big stronghold. Therefore, if we had successfully established a roadblock, come an ambush to prevent the Pakistani forces from the close defense of Dhaka, we would have contributed to the aim. So therefore, the audacious commander of ours, taking advantage of the fact that there has been success after success in defeating the Pakistanis at Jamalpur, Kamalpur, and now at Tangail, he said, let's take a risk and take a bold action of sending a force which the Pakistanis would least expect. All the time, the pinpricks were being given to them by the famous Mukti Bahini, which is like a thorn in their flesh. Now, they did not expect a regular army to go and lay an ambush for them. When it did occur, it is a big surprise for them. So therefore, I had the privilege of taking part in that road ambush, and it was successful in the sense that we crossed the river Turak very clandestinely. We had a mock area where we showed the actual crossing, but the troops virtually crossed elsewhere and went behind the lines. And if you ask, how did we cross? You'd be surprised that we broke all the rules. The Staff College premises, we waded in water because we had complete air superiority. We had our weapons right on top of our hand, which probably might look as if we are surrendering. No, it was to prevent them from getting wet. And our ammunition is also being carried so that it doesn't get wet. All we carried, the 90 of us who was the initial party, that is my Charlie company, was arms and ammunition and very little of ration. Shakarpara was that, all that we carried. My task was, at all costs, stop the enemy from going to Dhaka. My company was the, shall we say, the forerunner, and once I laid the ambush, time permitting and situation permitting, I was to pass the message to the battalion headquarters to induct the rest of the battalion. To maintain secrecy and security, I passed all my messages in Tamil and Malayalam to my commanding officer, Colonel Nair, and deception was also achieved. To ensure that we do not show any signs of our crossing on the road, because we had waded through slush in the rice fields, we had a very innovative idea. We took out our raincoats from our back, stretched it on the road, hop, step, and jump to the other side, pulled the raincoat back. There was no sign of any slush or mark, lest the enemy could find out that some movement has taken place. Also, my adjutant, Captain Prakash, who is no more with us, unfortunately, had a very innovative idea. He said, sir, let the Pakistanis think it is continued to be Mukti Bahini ambush. So we collected a couple of old, rickety, broken rickshaws from the nearby village, positioned them in all sorts of manner to block the road, to give an impression that it was Mukti Bahini was acting. In the initial stages, when we are all ready and my battalion had also joined by 4 o'clock in the morning, I was provided as further support by my audacious battalion brigade commander, who said, I will give you artillery support also. An artillery forward observation officer was inducted. But to my bad luck, that gentleman lost his operator. I don't know whether he fell asleep or whether he lost his way, and he landed at 4 o'clock in the morning to tell me, sir, I'm so and so, Captain Hira. I've come here as your FO. He said, sir, I got a bad news for you. I said, what is this? He said, I've lost my operator. Imagine a company commander getting a forward observation officer, less the operator. So he said, sir, don't worry. If you give me your radio set, I shall take it on because I got everything in my pocket. Hobson's choice, gentlemen, whether I go out of my communication from my commanding officer or give the radio set to him to register all the targets. I took the Hobson's choice. I said, take the blooming radio set because without the radio set, you are no use to me. Mind you, that Captain Hira was not only Hira by name, he was Hira by deed. He produced a marvelous artillery support for me when the war broke out. From 6 o'clock in the morning till 3 o'clock, we had to face the wrath of the enemy. 3 times we were attacked. We were also told, the Mukti Bahini representatives came and told me that they are advancing with tanks. 2 tanks, Shepherd tanks were also there. So we were quite prepared, and therefore our, the battle action that we took had neutralized all the efforts that Pakistanis had made. That determined call of theirs, mind you, Pakistanis were no pushovers. They fought with their back to the wall. It was either they or us. But today I'm telling you the story because they us won. And this ambush was successful in the sense 357 prisoners, 117 people were killed of the Pakistanis, 37 vehicles and 2 tanks was in my bag. That is, I say, the 10 Jack rifles had ensured that the whole lot of them were collected, disarmed, and they surrendered and did what we told them to do.
Extraordinary, sir. That was an outstanding action, sir, and which contributed tremendously to the final outcome of the war. Sir, I just want to ask you one more question. I believe eventually you were asked to take their surrender, and then you had something else to tell them. Can my viewers get that story from your mouth, sir?
Certainly. At about 3 o'clock, suddenly my artillery officer, Captain Hira, told me, he said, sir, I'm not likely to get you any more support. I said, why? He said, they are telling me to stop ceasefire. So I rang up the commanding officer and asked him, what is the problem? So he told me, persuade the enemy to surrender. I said, we are not playing marbles. I've faced 3 attacks and you are telling me to persuade them? You think they are that amenable? He said, no, there is something happening in Dhaka, so you better persuade them. So I took out a 2-inch mortar bomb carrier, flattened it slightly and made it into a sort of a megaphone and started announcing in Hindi, Punjabi, Urdu, telling them, Pakistan ke jawano, sun lo meri baat. Ab aapka waqt aa gaya hai. Aap bilkul घेरे हुए हैं. हमारी ब्रिगेड यहां पर आ चुकी है. आपका ढाका जाना नामुमकिन है. तो इसलिए आपका भला रहेगा कि आप लोग सरेंडर हो जाएं और आपको जिनेवा कन्वेंशन के मुताबिक हम बर्ताव करेंगे. So they were a bit apprehensive. They were wondering as to what the hell is happening. In the meanwhile, they must have found out from their side also that there is some development. So initially 6 of them put their hands up with the rifles on top with a white handkerchief. I said, ये सही बात है, सुन लो अभी बात और. अगर आप में से कोई गलत हरकत करे तो मेरी मशीन गन अभी तक तैयारी है. And I said, दाएं बाएं की हरकत मत करो और हादसा मत बढ़ाओ. काफी मर चुके हैं आपके. सुन लो, देख लो हमारी मशीन गन. I let go 1 burst of ammunition to show that I am still active and alive. And that slowly and slowly, 357 people in bits and pieces surrendered. dropped their weapons in disgust. Threw them. Look at that bad morale. And then I was a little bit worried that I'm there only 90 and I had already lost 2 of my men. How the hell to get out of these 357 people? I passed the message to commanding officer who said, you don't worry, you just keep them there only and I will send some people to get them rounded up. That's the other side of the story. They all surrendered, we took care of them and ensured that nothing happened. Then I had to cremate my dead. 2 of my buddies had died. The Pakistanis are watching me cremate my dead. In that, to them, my men, Havildar Ajit Singh and Harbansh Lal, I was their father, mother, and the company commander. In that situation itself, I cremated them with full military honors. We stood, had the guard, fired the gun salute, and whatever we could do at that time, we did. Pakistanis were wonderstruck. He said, look, this is the company commander who's cremating his dead. So I asked him, Mr. Saab, dekh kya rahe hain? Aapke mare hue jawanon ko kya karenge aap? That major from that place, I regret to say, was most insensitive. He turned around and said, Major, I do not have weapons. I do not have implements. What do I want me to dig with? I said, Major, remember that. If I were you, I would have started digging with my nails. You have no interest in looking after your men. The Subedar Saab of the Pakistani army told me, he said, Saab, agar aap jaise afsar hamare army mein hote, hum kabhi nahi haarte. That is the biggest compliment, more than the Veer Chakra that the government of India has given me. That the Pakistani Armed Forces JCO tells me, aap jaise Indian Army ke afsar hamare paas hote, hum kabhi nahi haarte.
What a great display of extraordinary courage and valor. And in the true traditions of the Indian Army, the human values displayed by you, and quite rightly, sir, you got the Veer Chakra. Shafiq sir, can I start looking at you now? And I said that in my little brief, that the Mukti Bahini had a stellar role, in fact, the decisive role to play in the entire battle, entire war, and the emergence of a great nation called Bangladesh. Can you tell me how the Mukti Bahini concept actually came up? I believe it was initially called Mukti Fauj and then it became Mukti Bahini. Shafiq sir.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Arajji. By the end of November, Pakistan Army's morale had gone down to their boots due to Mukti Bahini's operations all over the country.
No doubt about it, sir. No doubt about it.
And we realized that, not realized, I mean, we've seen it took Indian Army and Bangladesh Allied Forces took only 13 days to take over in Bangladesh and we had the independence. So that was like this. How Mukti Bahini worked, as I said before in many interviews, the Mukti Bahini, earlier known as Mukti Fauj, as you all know. We had a training from, there are 11 sectors actually. These are all surrounding part of East Pakistan, within East Pakistan, in Assam, in Tripura, in West Bengal. So there are 11 sectors. The sectors I was involved in Tripura state, the place called Melagao. Melagao is around 35 to 40 kilometers from the Agartala city. So we had our training in there, very brief training. Initially started 5 to 6 weeks, and then it is reduced to 4 to 5 weeks, even 3 weeks. I had a training of 4 weeks. Basically, we used to have a very simple weapons like 303 rifles, submachine gun to the smaller one with 28 rounds of 9mm in there, hand grenades, and then anti-tank mines and some, there is one very important arms called SLR, self-loading, Indian self-loading rifle. That was very big, very powerful weapon. And then we had anti-tank mines, some personal mines as well. and training on explosives. So these sort of things we had been trained in India, in our camp. And the policy was very simple. We were guerrilla fighters. We simply ambush and sabotage, hit and run. That was the theory. That was how we are being trained. And if I want to give you one example how we did it, I give you one example. Like there is a floating dock in Narayanganj River. There is a river called Shitalakha River. It's a nice river actually. We used to live beside, just in the bank of Shitalakha River. We had a small bungalow in there. So we lived in there. So the floating dock, what they used to do, all the Pakistani gunboats floating all around in the rivers for repairing, for anything, they used to come in that floating dock and they got repaired and then go back again to the action. So we have been instructed from the Central Command in Sector 2 that this has to be damaged severely so that they do not go into commissioning operation again. So what we did, we made a recce. Two of us went near the floating dock, and we found that there are 8 guards in there. And all those mechanics and staff are living inside the boat, inside the floating dock. So what we had to do, we had to empower all those 8 guards, and we did it. And then the machine room is almost 30 yards down. You have to go down by a ladder. So what we did, we just fixed a 15-pound plastic explosive with a regular conventional detonator and a safety fuse of 20 feet. And we just had a fire, and then we ran out of the floating dock. And in I think it was 3 minutes time, it's a big bang. It's been hard we were in Narayanganj. It's been hard in Dhaka city, which is almost 20 kilometers away. So all around the city was shook up, and the floating dock is gone down. So that's how he stopped it. There are many other cases, but I can give one more example. We all know the anti-tank mines works. You just dig it out and then you plant it somewhere. So when tanks goes is blown up. But we did it differently. What we did, there is a detonator inside the anti-tank mine. We took out the detonator, filled with the plastic explosive, and then electric detonator been fitted. And we had an electric core. We took almost 200 years far. So we had the information. There is a high profile cars are coming from Adamji area where the Pakistani camps are there. So at night when they were coming, we'd been waiting. So exactly when they were crossing our mine on the road, we just pushed on a switch and then it went off. So this is the 2 operations that been noted by everyone that it was excellent operations we did.
Shafiq sir, it was so good because I have good reason to believe that these 2 operations, more importantly, the sinking of the floating dockyard, they went a long way in contributing to the overall effort of the war. Now I would like to know, you had given the story which I had heard yesterday also, something, the kind of all the Pakistani forces head of the Mukti Bahini. Can you narrate that story for our viewers, Shafiq sir?
Oh, I mean, we were not sitting idly in a single day, single night. Never. We are not sitting idle. So if nothing is happening in one evening, we'll definitely do something. So what we did, say, there is a Pakistani camp. There is a place called Burma Shell, where the big oil depot in there, huge oil depot. So they were guarding those, and there is a camp as well. At least 29, 30 Pakistan Army used to be there. So what we did, okay, nothing is happening tonight. Okay, let's go, 4 of us. We made a few rounds, open fire. After that few rounds, Pakistan Army from that camp start firing, and firing. Almost whole night they had been firing. They were so nervous, so nervous. So these sort of things we used to do it sometimes. So that's how it went actually. And I must acknowledge one thing. I must tell you, I was telling other day as well, the cost was huge. It was the Indian Army who came into Bangladesh with the allied forces, and they have given their lives as well. They have given their blood. Indian people given their blood. But the cost we have paid is a huge cost. 300 of our sisters and mothers been raped. 30 lakh people been killed indiscriminately. And 191 intellectuals been killed. Just knowingly that these people, if these people lives, they will bring this country to a greater height. So what Bangladesh has achieved today, this could have been achieved 25 years before if those people had lived. And this was planned, pre-planned. They did it intentionally that this country should be damaged, like so that they never stand on their feet.
I fully agree with you, but I must congratulate this great nation called Bangladesh that in spite of 30 lakh dying, 3 to 4 lakh women getting raped, and intellectual base getting destroyed, today Bangladesh is an outstanding nation, flourishing and establishing its name in the world. I think there can be nothing greater than that. Just 50 years old nation, and look where you are these days. I hats off to you all, and an outstanding contribution of the Mukti Bahini to the overall war effort. I will tell you one or two more things, Shafiq sir. Please acknowledge if they are, but what I'm saying is right. The most important contribution made by the Mukti Bahini was in providing intelligence and information. 1. 2, providing mobility, because in that kind of ravine terrain which exists in Bangladesh, unless you are guided, unless you are taken to the right places, unless you are told where the enemy is strong, where he is likely holding, where there are holes, it would have been so very difficult for the Indian Army, for that matter, for you all, to achieve what they have done in 13 days flat. So that was another important thing. Then subversion and sabotage, which you made a mention of. Subversion and sabotage was another very, very important assistance or contribution of the Mukti Bahini. So I salute Mukti Bahini and soldiers like you, sir, and you will have done such a wonderful thing. Colonel Krishnaswami, I'll get back to you. We are running out of little time. So before we wind up, I would want you to kindly give our viewers some message that you would like to give on this golden jubilee year of the finest hour for our great military.
Okay, I will like to say that in this 50th year of our celebrating the victory over Pakistan, it is a joint effort of the 3 wings of the armed forces and the cooperation that we sought, which was in abundance provided by the Mukti Bahini. These days, we are all working towards joint workmanship. We must remember that individually we may excel, but collectively we will reach the pinnacle. That should be our aim. We should all the time remember joint warfare. That has been the aim of our armed forces in the last 10 years. I'm sure the country would realize that and would realize it. That's my message.
Thank you very much, Colonel Krishnaswami, sir. It was wonderful interacting with you. Shafiq sir, I would now request you to kindly give a message to our viewers and to your great nation, Bangladesh, on this 50th Golden Jubilee year of Bangladesh's birth.
Okay, what we are today at the celebrating 50 years of independence of Bangladesh, what we have achieved, it is because of the independence. If you see this compare with Pakistan, where they are now and where we are now, we say before independence, our per capita income was 0.7% only. Now our per capita income surpassed Pakistan 3 times. So this is the achievement here. But the message is for the young generation, we cannot just sit idle. We have to be very vigilant. These Pakistani people and their intelligence, they never stopped. They're still conspiring against Bangladesh, whatever way they can do. We can see many examples. They try to intervene in our Bangladesh politics, intervene, killing our prime minister, killing important people as well. So there are examples that they're disturbing. They'll continue to disturb. So I urge all my young generations to be very vigilant. Whenever necessary, we fight again. We have to fight. So this is the message for the young generation. And for the viewers, I must tell that Bangladesh is a great nation. Great in a sense that we have achieved, we have surpassed in many sectors like education, irrigation, agriculture, fisheries. Every sector we have our prominence. And mostly, if you just look back to the data, that we have the second highest garmenting export in the world now. So this is what we have achieved today. We have a workforce of 8 million strong workforce we have. And altogether, 1.220 crore people are involved in the garment sector. So achievement is great. We have to keep it up. We have to hold the things. So we have to be very vigilant.
Thank you very much. It was excellent interacting with you, Colonel Krishnaswami sir and Shafiq sir. I once again take this opportunity to greet and congratulate all the Indians and Bangladeshi public on this 50th glorious year of birth of a great nation called Bangladesh and an outstanding victory over the Pakistanis. However, what Shafiq sir says, Pakistan is a rogue nation. They will never stop interfering and never stop doing their mischief in both India and Bangladesh. We are on the same side when it comes to handling a rogue neighbor. So I wish we handle them well, be very vigilant, be together, and do well both as countries, great countries, growing countries of the world. Thank you very much, Krishnaswami sir and Shafiq sir. It was wonderful interacting with you. Viewers,
Thank you very much.
if you like this video, please don't forget to like the video, share it, and subscribe to channel metamorphes.org. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Bangla.